do. I expect the mic to cut out at any point in time, but we'll see how it goes. Um, Welcome to the Academy of Language Therapy Live. For my students and other interested parties, I promised that I'd do a little bit of a news workout roundup. I talk a little bit about what's happening around the world and give a few opinions and let you into different perspectives, the other side of things. Usually I do this during the week, but it's Sunday evening and I have a little bit of time. In fact, I don't have any time at all. That's not true that I have a little bit of time. I don't have any time at all, but I'm making time. So there we go. I don't know if the audio is going out okay. Should be going out okay. If the audio is okay, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that everything can be heard. Remember, you can write in the chat if you have any questions, if you want to join in the conversation. We're going to look at the news and discuss what's been happening over the last few days. For those that are interested, you can find out more about what we do at nsa-slovakia.com. We are the Academy of Language Therapy. We do English language tutoring, and we also offer life coaching courses. Anyway, I'd like to start with a quote. I was scrolling down through Facebook, as you do, and I came across a quote posted by the Collective Evolution website. Nice people. And the quote is by Aldous Huxley, author of a book entitled Brave New World. This is the quote. The real hopeless victims of mental illness are to be found among those who appear to be most normal. Many of them are normal because they are so well adjusted to our mode of existence, because their human voice has been silenced so early in their lives. So early that they do not even struggle or suffer or develop symptoms as the neurotic personality does. They are normal not in what may be called the absolute sense of the word. They are normal only in relation to a profoundly abnormal society. Their perfect adjustment to that abnormal society is a measure of their mental sickness. These millions of abnormally normal people living without fuss in a society to which, if they were fully human beings, they ought to not be adjusted. So there. Yeah, what is normal? Normal is in essence dictated by culture. It's dictated by the ethics of your surroundings. And so this is what causes success and failure in a lot of people's lives. Success and failure is simply the result of the fact that you either fit into the society around about you or you don't fit into the society. And if you don't fit in, you have to move because you don't have the power as an individual to change the whole structure of society, or at least most people don't. It's not really possible for most. Anyway, back to the news. So there was a bit of a furor, can we say that? A bit of a conflict of interest on the internet, a conflict of opinions over American foreign policy, what happened with Syria. Here's my take. What do we know? We know that chemical weapons were released. We know that people were hurt. We know that people died. We don't know who released the chemical weapons, but we know chemical weapons are horrible things. or it's a horrible thing to have anywhere. The American president made a decision to remove these chemical weapons. Let's just not have any chemical weapons in the hands of anyone that can create a problem. That's it. I think it's better not to have the chemical weapons, basically. I think in that sense, the decision is the right decision. Now, you can argue about sovereign states and their powers to solve problems. You can argue about the rights to such activities, whether or not the president can make that decision or whether it should be made by Congress. I think that the decision was the right decision, but I think it was taken for the wrong reasons. I think it would have been better to take a step back and wait until more information was available. However, there are great advantages to the United States from the swift and decisive action, and it has catapulted the United States back into #1 position in terms of world police organization. It's also probably caused a few countries to think twice about doing things that they were planning to do. So, let me know what you think about that. So I'm bordering on the side of right action, wrong reason. Does that make it okay? I don't know. You're basically left with an option of, do we leave chemical weapons somewhere where terrorists can get their hands on them, or do we just blow up all the chemical weapons and remove that problem? And you sort of have to make a Machiavellian decision in that situation, and I think that Trump made the right decision, and it will be proven over the long term that he made the right decision. Whether or not this will be good for his presidency, that's another question. A lot of things remain yet to be seen. So time will tell. We do want to solve problems without conflict. We do want to solve problems with détente, with dialogue, with conversation, with the skills of those who have been trained in the universities to resolve conflicts, with the ambassadors. So let's hope that everything will keep going in the right direction. Now, there's a lot more to it than that. There's a whole history of problems, and there's 1,000 different perspectives. So I hear a lot of people arguing about all the negatives of it, and I don't disagree with them at all. I respect I respect their opinions, and I think it's going to be only over time that we know which decision was the right decision to make. So let's see what happens. Anyway, moving on. We're looking at drudgereport.com. So if you want to follow the news that I'm talking about, you'll find all the articles on the world's most visited news site. Yes, it is used by the intelligence agencies. So there it goes into the chat. Drudge Report. And I'm going to type in a news roundup. A news roundup. There we go. Get rid of that. Okay. A news roundup. So, what have we got? Things that are useful and things that are useless. Walmart recalls packaged salads after dead bat was found inside. Is that really newsworthy? I'm not sure that's really newsworthy. It's a very odd story from the news, but it tells you that you should beware of prepackaged foods. Think about what you're eating. Do you know where it came from? Do you know what chemicals or pesticides were used in its production? How long has it been stored for? Has it been treated with anything? The questions that we don't ask ourselves normally because we're too scared. We're too scared to know the truth about what it is we're actually eating. Remember, you are what you eat, and if you don't know what you're eating, then I think you're basically taking a risk with your health. Of course, it's entirely up to you what you do with your health, but the article is going into the chat right now, so if you want to take a closer look at the article, you can find it in the chat. Dead bat. Oh my God. I'm doing a dead bat. How'd you get a dead bat into salad? Have you ever bought a sandwich from a shop, like a prepackaged sandwich, and just not looked inside of it, just eaten it? I mean, who knows what's in that stuff? Who knows what's in that stuff? It's completely crazy. So, it could be anything. It could be anything that we're eating. I mean, myself, I've been scared to have a look inside that. I mean, I don't buy those sandwiches anymore. I make my own. At least I know what's going into it, basically. 2 people in Florida reported eating some of the salad before they found the bat. The bat was sent to the CDC rabies lab for laboratory testing of bats in the United States. Sometimes I've been found, why are they testing the bats? They should have been testing the people eating the salad to see if they're okay. The deteriorated condition of the bat did not allow for CDC to definitively rule out whether or not this bat was diseased. I don't think you're really worried about whether the bat's diseased or not. I think you just don't really want to be consuming dead animals in your salad. Who knows? I mean, that's what they discover. Who knows what? Who knows what they find in the foods that they don't report about? And who knows what people eat? Who knows if there's something stuck inside in the middle of the chocolate bar or whatever it is that the person is eating, or the sandwich, as I mentioned earlier, or anything that's prepackaged. So what did I learn last week? That a lot of prepackaged food companies are bought by drugs cartels because that's the best way to transport drugs illegally across borders. Like they buy companies that buy and sell flour and import and export flour so they can shift their drugs around. Not to mention the fact that Coca-Cola imports and exports a lot of things that it shouldn't do. You shouldn't be drinking that stuff anyway. There was a country recently that discovered that Coca-Cola was they're like a dangerous chemical that shouldn't be consumed by humans. So I can't check it because my computer's having a heart attack in the background. So I'll just leave it at that, I suppose. Yeah, think about what you eat very carefully. Think about where it comes from. Think about who prepared it. Just think about all these things because it does make a difference to the quality of your life. Right, prepare your own food. That's always the best way to go. Buy local. Buy local. The bananas sometimes get stored for 2 years in giant refrigerators before they appear on the shelves, before you can eat that. Isn't that crazy? Does that mean there's a 2-year stockpile of bananas in the world? It's a bit insane. We live in a crazy world, don't we? Okay, so moving on, changing gears, changing topics, onto fashion and status symbols. Onto fashion and status symbol. Here's an article. If you're following the chat, I've just posted a link. Here's an article from the New York Times. Sleep is the new status symbol in society. I think it's basically saying that the more you sleep, the more luxurious a lifestyle you're supposed to have. You know how people say you're supposed to have 8 hours sleep? 8 hours sleep? I can't do that. If I sleep more than 5 hours, I just feel more sleepy. So, I know some people say, oh, I need at least 8 hours sleep. Oh my God, it's 1/3 of your life. Bye-bye. It's kind of crazy. So, if I don't sleep, I don't function properly. Yes, we do need to sleep from time to time. It's true. Anyway, let's see what the article is. Let's see what the article is saying. According to MIT, American Institute of Technology, according to the Media Lab, the Digital Futurist Playground, that oh, the first introductory paragraph is just absolute nonsense. What is it saying? Research into an ideal sleep environment was carried out, which links to the fact that the quality of your life is very much related to the quality of your sleep, and that it's very much a status symbol now. I mean, consider, like, good beds are expensive, right? If you want quality, I mean, you can buy some cheap IKEA kind of bed that's gonna break into pieces the first time you try to have sex on it. I mean, what's the point of that? You notice a lot of people, when they buy beds, they have to like reinforce them and add pieces to them because the materials that they're built from are just not strong enough anyway. So you kind of, you do want to invest in a quality bed. Oh my God, somebody was telling me the other day that they slept in a bed that had bed bugs in it and they would get bitten every night. The whole concept is just really freaky. Oh, and did you know, while you're sleeping, at least 3 spiders crawl across your body during the night. That's an average statistic. A friend of mine who was an arachnophobe told me that. He told me he couldn't sleep for weeks when he found out. So that's a bit insane. So we all know that if we don't get enough sleep, the brain starts to malfunction. Who was it? It was one of the members of the Rolling Stones said that he had. He was asked, what's the longest amount of time that you've spent partying? And he said there was 1 week when I didn't sleep for a whole week, and obviously he was taking some kind of substance to keep him awake. But he said at the end of the week, he just looked at things and it looked like everything was burning, which is kind of scary. So obviously, we've all had experience of nights where we don't get a lot of sleep. We only get 2-3 hours and we wake up and we just kind of don't function very well. So I would say it's definitely necessary to get at least 5 hours sleep. So if you think there's a good average or better average, let me know if you got any advice about how to get a good night's sleep apart from the obvious. Let me know. Do you drink coffee before going to bed? I drink coffee and it doesn't seem to keep me awake at all. Anyway, so apparently there are a lot of universities doing studies on sleep. They pay people to actually sleep. I could do that. Did you know the University of California, Berkeley, has a professor of neuroscience and psychology who is also the director of the Sleep and Neuroimaging Laboratory? Did you know that existed? There's a neuroimaging laboratory. Bet you didn't know that existed. They work on direct current stimulation as a cure for sleeplessness in the aging brain. Do you even understand that? Do you even get the magnitude of the fact that even just exists? Let me repeat that. There is a director of sleep and neuroimaging, and he's in charge of a project working on direct current stimulation as a cure for sleeplessness in the aging brain. There are kids that don't have enough food to eat in parts of the world, and we've got money for this nonsense. Anyway, Dr. Walker is sifting through millions of hours of human sleep data he has received from Sense, a delicately lovable polycarbonate globe designed to look like the National Stadium in Beijing that measures air quality and other intangibles in your bedroom, then suggests tweaks to help you sleep better. That's an insane paragraph of information. It's absolutely necessary to share that in the chat. Right, if you're interested in what's going on, there we go. Goes into the chat. Tra-la-la. Anything else going on? Headbands. Oh, there's a nice image of people sleeping under strange colors of light. In Paris, I'm doing this in France as well. In Paris, Hugo Mercer, a computer science engineer, has invested in sound waves. He has raised over $10 million. I could do that. I mean, I could do that job. I mean, I could do with that money as well. He has raised over $10 million to create a headband that uses waves to induce sleep. You're not tired enough from your normal daily work, or what? The product, called Dream with 2 E's, has been beta tested on 500 people who all died. No, I did that. Out of a pool of 6,500 applicants. 6,500 people wanted to do this. Imagine they're all immigrants who don't have jobs. And it will be ready for sale this summer. A headband that sends waves. This is scary. Whatever happened to just living naturally in harmony with your own environment? That's just crazy. So it's also being studied in Australia as well, where there's a gadget called THIM. Thim, I think that's short for thimble. A gadget you wear on your finger that uses sound to startle you awake every 3 minutes for an hour just before you go to sleep. Why would you want that? Sleep disruptions apparently can cure sleep disruption. That's insane. It actually says sleep disruptions apparently can cure sleep disruption. You think I'm making this stuff up? I'm not making this stuff up. It's actually what it says here. Right. Have you had enough about sleep? Should I move on to another article? The Center for Disease Control and Prevention calls sleeplessness a public health concern, whereas nuclear power stations are not, apparently. Good sleep helps brain plasticity. I'd rather not have a plastic brain, but okay. Studies in mice, because mice are just like people, have shown poor sleep will make you fat and sad. And then will kill you. I was joking earlier when I talked about death, but apparently it's important. It is also expensive. Last year, the Rand Corporation published a study that calculated the business loss of poor sleep in the United States at $411 billion. For somebody, not for me. A gross domestic product loss of 2.28%. Text going into the chat for you there. Right. Anyway, I posted a link at the beginning, and the article goes on and on and on. Apparently there's a lot of people studying this. There are a lot of programs. There's a lot of money being invested in that. What else? It says sleep is the single most effective thing you can do to reset your brain and body. We have a saying in medicine, what gets measured gets managed. If you can measure it, you can control it. It's kind of scary. Sleep entrepreneurs from Silicon Valley and beyond have poured into the sleep space. They have poured in $32 billion. My God. And it goes on and on and on and on. It's worth noting that George W. Bush, formerly a sleep outlier among his presidential peers for clocking in around 9 hours of nightly shut-eye. That's because he wasn't doing much. Anyway. It goes on and on and on and on and on. Anyway, you can find out more about it for yourself. Maybe you want to invest in one of the products. Maybe it'll help you. You know, it's funny how one set of drugs keeps you awake so you can party, and the other set of drugs puts you to sleep so you can get a good night's sleep. Okay. There you go. Make of that what you will. What else is happening? France has an election. Nationalists are set to win unless the other side cheats, because people are tired of living with no borders. It's all very logical. I've said it before. Houses have locked doors. Gardens have fences around them. Some people even have dogs to protect their gardens. That says it all. Moving on. Upgrading humans will become the next billion-dollar industry. Upgrading us, because obviously there's something wrong with us. I should be able to talk and walk at the same time here. So I'm going through my flat to grab a drink as I'm parched. Right. Here we go. So what was I talking about? Oh, upgrading us, because obviously we're not good enough the way we are, so we need to be better. So this is from Market Watch. So it's going to be investment opportunities. How upgrading humans will become the next billion-dollar industry. 50 years from now, today's humans will be obsolete. That's kind of scary to think of that. You can see society going in two ways, right? Those who integrate with technology and those who don't integrate with technology. And the Wi-Fi thing is just on the other side over there, so your video has been paused because of poor connection signal. They just don't want the information to get out, because we are formed by what we put in to us. Human beings becoming obsolete. This is going to be all about investment. Yes, you see, investors searching for the next transformative technology destined to turn a bunch of Ivy League dropouts into billionaires and half the market into loose slot machines need only look in the mirror. The greatest industry of the 21st century will probably be to upgrade human beings. Well, there we go. So we're obviously so broken, we don't even know that we're broken. It's back to the Aldous Huxley quote at the beginning. And there we go. Noting this is also an advertisement for a book as well. For all of humanity's scientific, economic, and artistic achievements, we have neglected the ultimate self-improvement project, our bodies and our brains. I don't know. I think I've been improving quite well recently. We are still run on the same old hardware and software that evolved some 200,000 years ago. Well, I like my hardware personally. Google already has a unit or division devoted to overcoming death. You what? You what? I should say that with more surprise, like, you what? That's what it says here. I mean, this, I'm not making it up, I swear. That's what it says. Google already has a unit devoted to overcoming death. Wasn't it Steve Jobs who said that death was the single greatest invention of life? It's death that gives us the urgency to get things done. Anyway, new technologies yield humans with much longer battery lives. Oh, I got a shocked face. There you go. Thomas, there you go. Thomas, you want to live forever, mate? It's okay. Google's going to save you. You're not going to die. You're going to be stuck on this planet until there's no planet, and then you'll have nowhere to go. How exciting will that be? New technologies will yield humans with much longer battery lives. Oh my God. Killer apps and godlike superpowers. Oh my God. We'll all be like Marvel comic characters. Even the finest human specimens of 2017 will in hindsight seem like flip phones. Ancient. Oh my God. There is of course a catch. Many of us will remain flip phones as technology to upgrade humans to iPhones is likely to be costly. Oh yes, it's only for the rich. It's only the rich people that will live longer. The poor people will die out even faster than before. These advances will likely lead to greater income inequality than ever before. For the first time in history, it will be possible to translate economic inequality into biological inequality. That's pretty scary. We're already there. I mean, if you've got more money, you can pay for private healthcare, which is much better, right? I mean, we're already there. We don't have to use our imagination too much to take the next step into the future. At the same time, superhumans will have less and less to do. Is that why they have to save the world? Because robots and artificial intelligence will perform more and more of the jobs with which obsolete humans used to be tasked. Yes, as Bill Joy from Sun Microsystems said, the future does not need us. I can only imagine what's going to happen. Next, yeah, it's welcome to the Matrix. If you want more information about that, you can have a look at the article. I'm not going to get deeper into it. I've mentioned that we're already halfway down that road. God knows what technology is going to come up in the future. I don't fancy being microchipped personally, although I don't have a problem with improved medical care. In some countries it couldn't get much worse anyway. What is it? The third largest cause of death in Western societies is actually medicine and medical malpractice. Can you believe that? It's frightening. Anyway, I've got lots of friends who are doctors. Wonderful people. Always telling me, if you need anything, let me know. It's like the drugs just fall off the back of lorries. Hey, and I talked before about those chemist shops that don't actually really exist. And anyway, I'm not going to get into that today. Go back to my previous presentations for more information. What's next? Screenwriters. Screenwriters. People whose job it is to make up stuff. Screenwriters are complaining. Screenwriters say peak TV has hurt them. oh dear, is there something better that people are doing and you're not, and you're hurt by it? You know, that's like being annoyed because somebody opens a shop that serves something better and everybody goes there. I mean, stop crying. Get over it. Why the idea of entitlement? Just because you do something, you deserve something. Just because you have something now means you should have something in the future. It's insane. Um, I always wonder about the payments for those things. Who pays all those people to do all those things for all those programs and all that media? Who pays all those people to create all those TV series that they churn out and pump out all the time? Where's all the money coming from for that? Um, yeah, and not to mention the fact Hollywood is now basically run by Chinese interests. Um, and the propaganda in the films, and the fact that there's not really anything new. And you know what I watched last night? I watched the Tarantino movie, The Hateful Eight. What a complete, what a complete pile of rubbish. Um, average directing, odd editing, uh, bits and pieces of great acting, but you could you'd basically film it all in one place with a couple of iPhones and a big tin of red paint and just throwing it all over the place. Anyway, the fact that that passes for a film is, you expect someone with his skills to produce something much better than that. Oh, but look, it's in white. You know, ah you know, it was just like it was like children's television with blood, gore, and violence. That's what it was. It's a disgrace that adults create that, and it's an even bigger disgrace that adults support that, and it's an even bigger disgrace that adults even watch that. So, ridiculous. If you want the, I'm not even going to get into the article because it's just people who have something more than they should have, wanting even more than they should have. It's ridiculous. And it's a guild. Well, it's a guild of people as well. So, let it be. Let it be. Move on. Mickey becomes a humanoid. Disney theme parks are changing. Okay. Don't know if you've ever been to Disney. I went to Disney when I was 15. I don't really remember much about it though. It's very hot. It's sad that I don't really remember much. It's because we only had like half a day there, and you need to spend more time probably. Anyway, Disney seeks new patent for soft robots playing characters. Oh yes, Disney are getting rid of people, and they're basically getting robots now. How ridiculous is that? The link to the article from the Orlando Sentinel is now in the chat. And I read it because I keep getting adverts for Star Wars convention. Thank you very much. I do not want to watch a video about this. Sorry if you heard that coming through the background. Soft body robots could someday be roaming Disney theme parks. They probably already are. I read an article last week about dinosaurs roaming hotels. Robot dinosaurs, that is. So we will have animated humanoid movie characters interacting with the visitors in order to train them for the new world futuristic technocratic system that we're going to be enrolled in. They are presenting it like it already like it's an idea for the future, but I think we're already there in a lot of ways. Um, so Disney is looking for a patent, it says. Soft body robots could be designed for reducing collision impacts during human interaction. You what? You worried that people are going to walk into each other, so that's why we need robots. What kind of world are these people living in? It's called the United States of America, and it's a very strange place. Robots can be found providing interactive guidance or entertainment in stores and amusement parks, and in more dynamic settings. Of course, from Aladdin to Ariel, from Winnie the Pooh, whatever, to other characters. They're going to have these characters as robots walking around. The characters will roam freely or meet visitors in special areas. Oh my god. I told you it wasn't new. Free-roaming robots aren't exactly new at Walt Disney's World. Previous versions have included Push, the talking trash can. Can't make this stuff up. It's a robot trash can. Which was basically a remote-controlled vehicle, and Lucky the dinosaur. A great name. Patent filing becomes problems, yada yada, and on and on and on and on and on. Disney in the past has clashed with unions regarding rules for employees who portray characters. Yeah, so it's basically getting rid of people because they'll have less problems if they have robots. Staffing characters with costumed humans hasn't proved foolproof, as one employee dressed as Donald Duck was involved in a lawsuit for doing things they shouldn't have been doing. Okay. Enough said. Enough said. I'm sure this is the only problem. Disney's kind of changed direction since the Disney family lost control of what was happening there. In 2007, a Disney employee playing Tigger was suspended after a family accused him of punching their 14-year-old son during a home video session at Disney's MGM studios. The Tigger being slightly too hyperactive there. Okay. Oh yes, people are problems, so we need robots, because robots are going to solve all the problems. Have you seen the film Westworld? You know that robots are not going to solve all the problems. It's just going to be another excuse for anything being possible. Oh, tra-la-la-la-la. Anyway, what else is in the news? Boom times for male striptease reviews. Yeah, male strippers are making lots of money at the moment, and one of the reasons is that the fact that families are falling apart and there are many older women with no partners. It's just one of the fallouts. It's just one of the fallouts that happens as a result of, as the family falls apart, so society falls apart, so we become desperate in our need for human contact, so we end up getting involved in activities such as going to strip clubs because we don't have any family at home. Welcome to the insanity of reality. Insane in the membrane, insane in the brain. The link is now in the chat. I'm not sure that, I wonder how they're going to sell that. They're going to sell this as, oh, how unexpected. Oh, nice for society. Oh, how, yeah, it's just a normalization of things that should not at all. It's a normalization of the degradation of society. Lots of people with nothing to do, and my computer completely refuses to open the article, so I can't really tell you anything about it. In fact, it keeps, every time I scroll down, it jumps back to the top again. Anyway, it's going to talk about the growth of the industry and how it was started by entrepreneurs and how they spotted a space in the market for their company, and how they had this dream about how they were going to change the world and improve the quality of life. Jesus Christ. That's a scary picture. Okay, I mean, you can there's men who don't really look like men. Okay. Um, is it a business? I guess somebody's making money. I started this company while living with my parents from my childhood bedroom. Oh my God. Now, women arrive by thousands at the events. It's like, here we go, boys. Oh my God. I guess films like 50 Shades of Grey are adding to this direction for society. Um, There we go. Right. Got a thumbs up, but that's very odd because it's telling me that nobody's watching this right now. So there you go. Interesting. Thank you very much, Facebook. I'm not. There's absolutely nothing of any cultural interest here at all. It's just the fact that the world is falling apart, basically. It's a growth industry. If you want a job, is that really a job? Is that a job? Is that a job just kind of dancing around, taking your clothes off? I guess it is a job for some people. And of course the films, there's a tie-in with the films because the films direct the culture. Wasn't there a film with Matthew McConaughey about a stripper a couple of years ago? Yes, well if it's okay for him, and oh my gosh. It's money. It's money. People will do anything to get the green stuff, right? People will do anything to get the green stuff. The Chippendales also sing now. Oh my God. Why do people go to these things? Why do they think it's some kind of horrible desperation? There's a kind of non-article as well. There's absolutely nothing I can copy and paste that's of any interest. Facebook groups, numbers of followers, Snapchat. Oh my gosh, it's I don't even want to get involved with that. See what I said? It's about families falling apart. It's about families falling apart, and the result is that society just tanks downward like a snowball headed for hell, basically. So this is about the striptease groups. Putting this into the copying and pasting it into the chat view. One of my friends was following them on Snapchat, and she kind of got me hooked. These people have no friends in their life. I mean, good friends. Nobody to guide them. Yonel Allen, 28, told me by phone from her home in Albuquerque. How do they find these people in Albuquerque? Mrs. Allen, a single mother. Single mother. I told you it would be single mothers. Has been to 5 Magic Men shows over the last year, posting about her experiences online and trading messages with the dancers on. Oh my gosh. They're like teenagers. Adults being like teenagers. Enough already, as they say. Enough. I was traveling on a train once across Slovakia, and I'm pretty sure 2 people sitting opposite me were male strippers. Just I'm not even sure how I knew. They were that. It might have been bouncers, but they sort of kind of look the same. They all look like people who don't have much to say. Right. Anyway, that was not very enlightening, was it? Moving on. Moving on. France, as I mentioned earlier, is bracing for nationalism to get elected. Okay. There was another attack in Stockholm where they can't mention the fact that it's Muslim terrorists. They have to say that the trucks run over people instead of terrorists. You know, it's when are people going to realize that that there's no such thing as multiculturalism. It can't exist. It's an oxymoron. That's it. End of story. Argument closed. You can't invite people who don't understand your culture into your culture and expect everything to work out okay. That's like getting all your neighbors to live in your flat. I mean, it's just not going to work. Google, the great leveler, pays female workers less than male counterparts. That's just ridiculous. Why can't we just pay people the same? Or why can't we pay people based on the results of their work? That would make sense to me. Anyway, what else is going on? Great white sharks stranded on California beach. And I guess it's not because they couldn't get a ticket to go anywhere. Maybe it was a photo opportunity. I don't know. And what was a giant shark doing on the beach? Computer hack sets off 156 emergency sirens across Dallas. Of course, now that we're all on the grid and everything is connected, that means that everything can be hacked. There is no privacy. And so, as you're like to do your fridge is connected to your Wi-Fi router, and that's connected to everything, and on and on and on. No rest. As the technology marches forward and every single thing gets integrated. And if you use it for good. 20,000 lesbians attend a single party in Palm Springs. Is that news? Who cares? Who cares? How does that even end up as news? Polluted London sets its sights on cars. Yeah, they're going to ban all cars from city centres in the future. And it's just a way of controlling human movement, in essence. How are people going to get to work? How are people going to get out of the cities into the country? So we're expected to integrate all this technology, but only use what we're told to use. Just taking one little step back, here's the article about hacking. Dallas officials blame computer hacking for setting off emergency sirens. 156 were activated more than a dozen times. Officials don't know who was responsible for the hacking. I'm pretty sure that they can trace the information and find out. We have a good deal of confidence that it was somebody outside of the system. Well, you could do it from anywhere in the world, couldn't you now? I mean, now that everything is connected. It's ridiculous. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Yes, despite the fact you've got all this technology, you're not even quite sure what you're going to be doing with it all, are you? Welcome to the world that we live in. Did I open the article on cars? Polluted London. What do you think? Should we get rid of all the cars? I don't know. Public transport. Ooh, public transport. You know how many times students come to my school saying, "Oh, yeah, I'm sorry I'm late, but it was the bus," right? I mean, the only way where you want to go when you want to go there is to have your own transportation. The idea in the future that we're going to have less and less transport is, or less and less options for personal and private transportation is insanely crazy. I'm working on a plan. I'm working on a plan to solve that, but I can't tell you about it. It'll be visible in the next couple of weeks, though. So if you stay tuned, can't tell you anything about it now. But what are the statistics? Let's check out the statistics from. Oh, need to post the article first. Momento. If you are following the stories, the article is going into the chat right now. It's from yahoo.com and the title is Polluted London Sets Sights on Cars. Yep, banning citizens. Oh, you want to live in the city? You can come and live in the city, but you can't travel around anywhere. You can only go straight. You can only go to your job and then home, and maybe to your entertainment area. Everything is going to be limited. And no one's. What's that film? There was a film with Sean Connery years ago that I didn't understand, but it makes sense now. Zardoz, I think it was called, where it's a dystopic, futuristic world, and if you just look at it from the perspective of a science fiction film, it just looks insane and crazy. But if you look at the world around about you and the way that it's organized and the direction it's going in, it's really, what's the word? Prescient? I might have invented a word there. Anyway, in 1952, the Great Smog suffocated London for 5 days, bringing the city to a standstill as soot-filled clouds descended onto the streets and into people's lungs, leaving more than 12,000 dead. So I didn't know that happened. The crisis prompted a clampdown on the use of coal. Oh yeah, get rid of the coal, because even though coal is now a clean energy, it's all about energy. But decades on, pollution is still causing more than 9,000 premature deaths per year. I remember going out in London when I lived there, and every time I came home, I had to get a tissue and wipe it across my head and take the dirt off. I mean, it's insanely crazy when you have so many people living in one place, not the rats and the animals and the spiders and the bugs and everything else that is there. It's also all about money as well. It's also all about where they can make a profit. It's always how they sell things, isn't it? They sell things on the fact it's going to be cheaper. London Mayor, another Muslim, is on a mission to deal with the lethal air in the city. Shame he can't deal with the terrorists after blaming pollution for his adult onset of asthma. Could be a collection of things. I'm trying not to sneeze. Oh my god. This week he announced plans for new charges for diesel cars and older petrol vehicles. Yes, you have to buy new things. Buy new. Keep buying new. Keep them buying. Consumer society. Which could see drivers pay £24, €28, $30 a day to enter central London. Oh my god. It's just, how can they screw the average citizen for even more? Not only you're going to have to pay to visit the cities in the future, and all the services are going to be in the city, so you're going to have to live there basically, and you won't be allowed out. More than 40,000 British deaths a year are attributable to exposure to outdoor air pollution. Although everybody should live in the cities. Yes. Pretty unhealthy environments, really. Oh yes, but the jobs, there are jobs. Yes, but you're working yourself to death, aren't you? What did I read? More than 40,000 British deaths a year are attributable to exposure to outdoor air pollution, according to a survey last year by the Royal College of Physicians and the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health, yada yada yada. It warned that air pollution plays a role in many of the major health challenges of our day, linked to everything from asthma to cancer, obesity, and even dementia. That would describe half of London, basically. It's all about the kids. Children are extremely vulnerable, and on and on and on and on. Yes, yes, let's have. Actually, due to this computer's not connected wirelessly. This computer's connected with a cable. Something very strange going on with Facebook. It's definitely connected through cable, and it's saying there's a problem with your wireless. Anyway, so I've been live for about an hour, which is quite long enough to be going live. The stories were sourced from drudgereport.com. Things we didn't get to were second opinion from doctor results in different diagnosis 88% of the time. Yes, doctors don't know what they're talking about. And also, when you do tests, you very often get different results. So that's why it's worth going to 2 or 3 doctors, getting 2 or 3 opinions with 2 or 3 different forms of tests. Do we have another solution? Not really. Get more than one opinion. Get a second opinion. It's 88% of the time. 88% of the time. The second opinion is different. And we're led to believe that this is a science. Sciences are not supposed to be about opinions, supposed to be about facts. Isn't this the world we live in? Fake science. Mike Adams had a good article on that as well. I'll get round to that eventually as well. If you want the source of what I'm talking about, so that you can see what I'm actually talking about is real, and I'm not just talking out of my, you get it. So, when it comes to treating a serious illness, 2 brains are better than 1. A new study finds that nearly 9 in 10 people who go in for a second opinion after seeing a doctor leave with a new diagnosis. Pretty freaky, really. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic examined 286 patient records of individuals who had decided to consult a second opinion, hoping to blah, 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 blah. It's 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. That's wild. Among those with updated diagnoses, not sure how to pronounce that, I should know. Copying and pasting it into the chat for you. Among those with updated diagnoses, 66% received a refined or redefined diagnosis, while 21% were diagnosed with something completely different than what their first physician concluded. That's not good. Knowing that 1 out of every 5 referral patients may be completely incorrectly diagnosed is troubling. No shit, Sherlock. Right. I mentioned earlier that the number of deaths is very high in society from misdiagnosis and from overuse of pharmaceutical prescription drugs. Anyway, let's just finish with this quote from a study. Despite the pervasiveness of diagnostic errors and the risk for serious patient harm, diagnostic errors have been largely unappreciated within the quality, thank you very much for the thumbs up, quality and patient safety movements in healthcare. Without a dedicated focus on improving diagnosis, these errors will likely worsen. That's pretty, how can you get worse than 9 out of 10 diagnoses is a mistake? How can you get worse? It would be like 10 out of 10. They'd all be wrong. These errors will likely worsen as the delivery of healthcare and the diagnostic process continue to increase in complexity. And then eventually they're going to say, get rid of doctors completely and robots will give you your healthcare. That's coming down the road as people even don't visit doctor surgeries, but they get online or they type in questions to Net Doctor or whatever other weird website they can find online. Right, I'm gonna sum up and do a little bit of things that I didn't get to. Gunman opens fire in gym, kills people. That wouldn't have anything to do with steroids at all, would it? And there's a lot of other information about the present political movements and situations around the world. If you want more information, go to drudgereport.com, the world's #1 website for the latest information, important information happening worldwide, used by all the intelligence agencies, CIA, FBI, Secret Service, Mossad, MI5, MI6, they all use it. So that's good to know. Anyway, if you've got any questions about what we looked at, let me know. If you've got an article you'd like us to cover, let me know. We are the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching. We offer English language courses and we try to make dreams become realities. If you want more information about what we do, visit nsa-slovakia.com. Link to us on Facebook, link to us on YouTube, 849 educational videos now. Link to us on Pinterest, and keep in touch. Share the information, share if you care, and we'll all synergize our ideas and our knowledge, and the world will become bigger, better, and brighter as a result. How cool is that? Sweet. Thank you very much for paying attention. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to make myself a sandwich. So, there we go. Have a great evening, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you are, and I'll be back live online again tomorrow, I hope. Sweet. I enjoyed this. Go back through the comments and read the stuff again. It's interesting. Check out the articles, pointers, directions.